This is not a story to be heard and then set aside, nor an article to be read and forgotten. It is a truth that confronts human life today. The life of Jesus Christ does not belong to a distant past. It remains present and active. And if people continue to live as though nothing has happened, the problem does not lie in the story itself, but in how they choose to face it. In Bethlehem, a child was born in poverty, without power, without renown. Yet that very moment marked an irreversible turning point. God no longer remained distant. He entered the world, entered history, and entered the human condition through the womb of the Virgin Mary and under the roof of Saint Joseph. From that moment on, the distance between God and humanity was broken, yet humanity does not always recognize it. The 30 years in Nazareth were not a forgotten period, but a deliberate choice. God chose to be present in ordinary life, in labor, in weariness, in what seems small and insignificant. Here, as reflected in Scripture and echoed by church life, a paradox emerges. People often seek the divine in distant places, yet fail to recognize God in their daily lives. When he began his public ministry, Jesus Christ did not choose the easy path. He did not speak to please the crowds, but proclaimed the truth, a truth that compels a response. Sin is real, hypocrisy is real, and without conversion, humanity remains in darkness. He healed but did not condone. He forgave but did not compromise, and for this reason, he was opposed, because truth always demands a response. In Jerusalem, everything reached its climax: an arrest in the night, a trial manipulated by human interests, and a sentence handed down not for justice but under pressure. Under Pontius Pilate, an innocent man was condemned as a criminal, and the cross appeared not as a mere symbol, but as an instrument of execution, where a body was torn, blood was shed, and breath slowly faded. It was a real death. At this point, the witness of church life must speak plainly. Christ died for me. Christ died for you, not for an abstract idea, but for each person. He took upon himself my sins, bore your failures, and accepted the consequences that belonged to us, dying in our place, to open a path that humanity could never open on its own. And the question remains one that no one can avoid: if Christ has died for you, will you continue to live as though it never happened?
3 days later, the empty tomb is not a secondary detail, but the very center of the entire event. He has risen. Death could not hold him. From that moment, the foundation of Christianity is no longer a vague belief, but a reality. Life has triumphed over death. And this changes everything. If humanity truly allows itself to be changed, "It is finished" is not a weak conclusion, but a definitive proclamation. The work of redemption has been accomplished. Nothing more needs to be added, nothing more needs to be paid, and no barrier remains on God's part. Yet this does not automatically transform the human person if one remains closed. And here, the witness of church life raises a question that cannot be avoided. If Christ has died for you, why do you continue to live as though the cross has never existed? Why do you still delay, still cling to what prevents you from entering into new life? Why do you know, and yet do not change? This is no longer a matter of understanding, but a matter of choice. Christ died for me. Christ died for you. Therefore, there is no room for half measures, no room for standing at a distance, no room for a life that remains merely external or superficial. For if that death is real, it demands a real response. And this reflection concludes with a clear and direct call. Open your heart, and not just slightly, but completely, so that the redemption already accomplished may not be blocked within you, but may truly enter, break through, heal, and transform your entire life.